What a beautiful day on the blockchain, folks. Bitcoin still toiling around, playing with some key levels, but our altcoins not looking too bad. There's some great signals coming up. We're going to be looking at some great charts, comparing some of our favorite altcoins to where Bitcoin is. Looks like Binance has decided to go to war with just centralized exchanges. Absolutely crazy. Israel, the war rages on there. MS-13 members being deported. It's a great day in the life of a basement dweller. So much to go over today.
Bullish.
Yeah, and we got Isaac. He's
Yo,
at home.
what's up, everybody?
He's in a different spot, but he's still
I'm in a
running
different
the
spot.
sticks here. This is kind of
Amen.
a cool setup, man.
This is we're rocking it right now, man.
I love it.
So
I
you're
love
in
it.
the basement studio. I'm in the
Yes, and we could talk about guns here. It's fantastic. Now, and
That's
you know
great.
what the irony about that is? TJ was the only one that said the word gun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All I said was 6.5 greed more in the Secret Service. Whew. Things got hot and heavy. No, I'm just kidding. Welcome in to the show, everyone. We got John Boy, OG Bobbin. This is the Bitcoin Way. Tommy Marin, government bowel movement tracker. Guess what, good sir? It's happening. You know what? I saw your comments before we went live, Isaac.
Yes, sir. Okay.
I am sorry to have told you, my friend, but you are indubitably,
Boom. There it is.
Boom.
Fantastic.
Beautiful.
Now let's get into the show here. Make sure you are following me on good old Twitter at Druth Crypto. Past 7,000 followers here. Another emergency live stream we did last night on, I think it was the Mario show. We also are going to be doing some pretty big Twitter spaces, X spaces from incredible account that you all will see coming back here very, very shortly. Very cute. Hola. Johnny December. Shady Bandito, what's up, folks? Kyle Watts, got to give the shout out here. I have kind of a condensed version of the chat, you know, so if you want to be heard, say it loud, say it proud. Where's Bitcoin dominance as we sit? 61.7%. Kind of scary, okay? Yesterday and the day before, we were looking at the candle being a body of red. It's coming back up, creating a kind of a little wick. We'll see where this goes. In general, we're going to be going over a very important time frame, April 2nd, on Bitcoin's price time frame. That is pointed to here with the little hand. We have some pretty important information to be going over on what happens April 2nd, because this is condensed. This is a giant condensation. No, that's not the right word. I know I'm being ridiculous saying that, but we are ticking up. We've been feeling pretty good over the last few weeks. These are weekly candles, but as this kind of triangle comes to a closure, some major news things go down. And as I believe they covered on the DC show, the CME gaps all but filled now. So no more CME gaps are sitting around on Bitcoin. That is a good sign. Get this bad boy out of the way. And next, these are just the general charts. On today's show, later on in the show, we're going to go over Cardano. And this is our ADA to Bitcoin chart. Very painful for quite some time, as you can see. But it has bounced in weeks past off of this trend line. It broke out above it, and now it recently had bounced on top of this trend line, now trying to get set up for a move up. But there's been some kind of crazy news out of Wyoming that has left Cardano holders wishing for so much more. So with that being said, we're going to get into it. We got a lot of news to cover here. Just general market watch. Let's have a look at what's up, what's down. Bitcoin down 1.3% on the day. But flat on the hour. Let's see the big movers here on the day. Pepe still ripping. Damn, I feel good about that. That was like the one meme coin. I was like, fine, it's gonna come back. It looked like it held good. There you go, Pepe. And I love me my Pepe memes. You know what I mean? Love me my Pepe memes. Let's see. It's up. Let's see what the 24 hours. It's kind of jacked up because it's not giving me the exact. You know what we need to do for this? Let's go to Coin 360. This is kind of fun. I like Coin 360. I do.
Beautiful.
It is kind of a nice layout. It's a good thing to check out in the morning. You can get all these damn ads out of the way. Boom, get you out of the way. Overall, SWE looking nice and strong. Dark green right there for SWE. We got dark green movement on Toncoin. Pi, my scam token, making moves. Fantastic.
Scam.
What MakerDAO? Okay, you just zoom in. That's MakerDAO with dark green right there, and TIA token. I wonder where TIA token is at right now. This is one that I got in at like $2, got out at 10. It's been toiling ever since, trying to come back up to its previous glory. Let's check it out on Coin Market Cap real quick. Not bad on the daily. On the 7-day, not bad either. The monthly, not bad. I mean, this thing crashed down to $2, $2.50 damn near. Jesus. Might have found its bottom. Might have found its bottom here. I believe this is the yearly. Yeah, this is the yearly looking at it. Overall, much to be regained from TIA token. We'll see if it comes back. It's giving a lot of pressure. What Drift is doing good too?
Drift is doing fantastic right now. It's up 5% on the day, almost at 70 cents again. You know,
Okay.
Sweet little pump right now.
All right. Let's go check it out here. 68 cents. This is where I got in original. Like I got into it at like 60 cents and then dumped it at 220.
Oh yeah.
Don't blame me at all. It's not even showing on the chart how high this thing got either. It was like,
yeah, no, because it was so fast. It happened within like 30, 40 minutes. It just like shot up and then went back down.
Interesting. Well, at least it is coiling at generally the top end of this previous accumulation range. Interesting to see. But let's get in all the news. The Bitcoin movements first. The initial jobless claims came out actual at 224,000. Estimates were at 225, so they thought it would just be 1,000 more jobless claims, and prior was 1,000 less at 223,000 jobs. These are very steady numbers to be coming out of the job economy, the employment economy. With this is a great account. We've been watching this one for a while. I don't even know what the hell. I think it's Fallis _ on X. But this is a great note for anyone that's trading. And if you are trading, click the link in our description. Utilize our partner code for LBank or Blowfin or BTCC. We got partner links all over the place. So if you're out there, you want to trade, get in on it. Blockchain, Graphane. Isaac, how's Graphane doing?
Dude, dead. Hold on. Dead.
Graphane's done?
No, it's not. It's pretty bad. Okay, so he asked Mr. Mark asked the question, what level did I buy into Graphane? I bought into Graphane at $300 million market cap. I don't have it pulled up right now, but that's okay. I bought it at $300 million market cap. I DCA when it hit $200 million market cap.
Yeah.
Now it's at $45 million market cap, and I will forever be poor.
Jesus. Okay. Well, you know what? Maybe I YOLO into it now that it's like dead.
Yeah, why not? And then just like watch it just go up, and it's gonna be like, ha!
I am a savage like that too.
You are.
I am a savage like that. Diaries of a Strip Club DJ thinks that you are in the metaverse right now.
I am.
Yeah, that looks interesting. But let's look at this. So dumping on the New York Open remains one of the most bullish signals in crypto, and this is more related to if you're trading within the day, which I have been known to do. Honestly, I've been getting in the mornings instead of trading just for the last few days. I've been working out in the mornings. I'm on that fasting routine I talked to Scott Herman about, and I feel absolutely fucking amazing. But there is some nuance to the fasting thing. That I do feel like is worth calling. So here's just the generalized notion. This is a great account, PD, Mangan Health and Freedom Maxi. Every other day, food restrictions and people age 75 or more cut their death rate in half. That's kind of crazy to think about. But just general fasting until like 2 or 3 p.m. goes great for me. I'm about 36 years old. Shout out to God, Elevator Man. Good to see you, dude. Dropping the memberships too. Holy good googly moogly. Appreciate you, bro. Hope everything is going swimmingly for you. That man, one of the most
legend. Come on.
One of the most based out there. So I'm fasting right now. There is a difference though for females in fasting. My wife, she is so smart. She came out and she was just very specific. Fasting for men in this degree, very good. And working out on an empty stomach. Fasting for women and working out on an empty stomach, very, very different. So we got to keep that in mind. Females, women's bodies handle fat reserves differently than men's. So, when they go into, I think it's, she's going to kill me if I get this wrong, but I believe it's if they, all right, let's do this. Hold on. So I believe when females work out on empty stomach, they're actually going to burn muscle first and not the fat first. Men, kind of different, kind of opposite, where we burn the fat first, and then the muscle is kind of the last thing we decide to burn on our body when we are fasting and working out or just being very active. So, oh God, government bowel movement tracker. Females don't fast. Have you seen them lately?
Jesus. Jesus.
Yeah, my wife has had 4 kids and she looks better than ever. And she was a model like years back. God, it's like a fine wine. Incredible. I'm a lucky guy. What can I say? I'm a lucky guy. Now let's keep going into Bitcoin. God, I get so distracted sometimes. These companies just bought and are planning to buy more Bitcoin. We got Strategy, Blockchain Group with 580 Bitcoin, MetaPlanet, this is one that's been advertised quite a bit, Cooler Tech, kind of a sneaky one with 53 Bitcoin, and GameStop getting ready. They're raising $1.3 billion to buy more Bitcoin. Insanely bullish. And this is a question, this is kind of the beginning of the game theory super cycle conversation that I do actually think is on the table right now. I do. And I'm going to be coming out with a deep dive on what this Wall Street government-driven super cycle for Bitcoin really could look like over the next 5 to 10 years. And that comes out tomorrow. This is not a rat tail. I'm starting a voluptuous.
This is a manly mullet, okay?
Yeah, I got a mullet going. But you know what? When I was a kid, I had an absolute rat tail. Very thin.
I had a side part.
You had a side part?
And a mohawk. I had a mohawk. That was cool.
Whoa. Okay. Let's see here. I want to listen to this is the Bitcoin Ways chat here. Kudos to the missus. I asked. Oh, you know what, Isaac? I got a question for you.
What's up?
What do you call a hippie gal that gets married?
I don't know.
Mrs. Hippie. Ooh. I got him.
You are banned.
You get banned.
All right. Yeah. I just had to do it. I had to do it. Brett haircut for sure. You know what I mean? Tennessee mud flap. It's where it's at, though, man. It takes a special kind of person to rock this.
That's very true.
It takes a special kind of person. Now, this GameStop buying it. We were talking to Grant Cardone on a space, me and Kelly, and it's really like it's the companies that are punching up that really we see adopting the Bitcoin approach first and foremost, and it's the countries punching up. It's like El Salvador. Really, this super cycle, I think, goes into Giga Chad overdrive mode when we do see America as a strategic reserve, bringing it into the table. And Grant had some great conversation. Shout out to Green Day Profits, 5 more memberships. Holy good God. God, what a badass, man. Givers Gain, absolutely. And Givers Gain, I have they're doing something pretty cool. They have even more books coming out. I'll share this real quick. Givers Gain, Crypto Billy. Here's his account. You can follow him at Crypto Billy 111. Easter's coming. Billy Goat Tales children's books are better than chocolate, last longer, and will teach your child about crypto. Pick up your copy here at Amazon. Very, very cool. I love seeing them come out with content that helps children really understand Bitcoin and monetary theory in general. Laserface asking me, is your price, I'm assuming you're asking if my price target for Bitcoin is still 180K. That lands smack dab in the middle of where my price target is in this particular cycle for Bitcoin. Absolutely. I do feel like we are chopping at a lower level than we historically have time and time again in Bitcoin. And right now our chop zone, I think it's at the 1618 to 2618. Is what okay, I showed the fib yesterday, but essentially as the market cap continues to grow, right, then we're now in the multi-trillion-dollar market cap level for Bitcoin. So it's a harder ball to move up the hill. Where we are right now, I think that seeing the chop zone that we've created, that same January, February 30% drop as we've seen, sets us up for the velocity to essentially hit $170,000 to $200,000 at the peak of the bull hype. Now, the question is, and where the super cycle conversation comes in, is how far down does Bitcoin really fall? It really doesn't pertain to altcoins in general. I think altcoins are still going to get crushed when the bear market historically should be coming about. But you know what? That is my target for Bitcoin. And if we see that 50% drawback and we get back down to like, let's say $90,000, that is a more reasonable expectation for me instead of looking out for this 100 or 90, 85% drop in Bitcoin. What up, Redman, too? I believe Redman's coming on tomorrow, I think.
Tomorrow, yeah, he's coming on.
I'm excited to have that. And you know what? Later on in the show, we might have some pretty crazy guests joining us here in this show today. So stay tuned for that. But let me see here. I'm going to clear off all these tabs and keep going with the Bitcoin news. There's a lot of stuff to cover. Back to it. GameStop getting ready to raise that $1.3 billion. And, seeing GameStop do this, I think a lot of companies, if they see the stock value of GameStop increase and they see that overall just interest in this Bitcoin strategy instituted on Wall Street, because we saw already a pretty hard no for now from Microsoft, right? So Microsoft, Apple, these giga companies, in NVIDIA, right? If they start to see GameStop go ballistic because it's adopting a Bitcoin standard and reserves in Bitcoin, the buying power of the company stays stronger for a longer term. Man, I mean, that is where things just absolutely get ridiculous. So GameStop, they are going after it. They're getting ready to raise that $1.3 billion. But the cycle in general appears to have changed. Okay. Miles Deutschner, looks like the 4-year cycle is dead. We're starting to see a significant deviation from the norm. New paradigms are being set up, and seeing a pullback and a chop back to this also makes you wonder, does the Bitcoin cycle in and of itself last longer, right? This is where the dynamics and the mechanics of this cycle have tangibly changed, and we need to take into account this new data. If I wasn't, then I'd be I don't want to say the R word.
Yeah.
But, it would not
be special.
I would be special if I didn't take this into account. So what I see here, these are the 4-year cycles of Bitcoin according to their halvings overlaid on top of one another. Where we're chopping and how deep of a chop down we're experiencing right now is historically different than these same previous timeframes, which actually leads me to think that we might actually see this start to just end up being a more extended cycle, because usually you start going into the bear markets 4 years from that halving. You play that Bitcoin hyper run, and then you chop back down into the local lows, where it has historically been very, very easy to just ladder back into Bitcoin. I think tangibly things are different now. I think the ETFs, I think the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve for the U.S. and states beating the U.S. federal government to those Bitcoin reserves really have changed the landscape for what's going on right now. Mr. Mark, yes, indeed. You know what? It's a beautiful day. The sun is shining. The grass is clear. Incredible times ahead for us. Yeah, thank God too. Justice still exists. Justice still exists. You can run from justice all you want. You can flaunt around it and think you're above it.
It will always come back and bite you in your ass.
Yep, absolutely. Do the right thing when no one's looking. That's the moral of that story.
Integrity. We talked about it on Billy Goat Tales.
Integrity map. Yes, we even talked about that concept on Billy Goat Tales. Absolutely. Do the right thing when no one's looking. And I think I'm going to have a longer lifespan as a crypto news person because I don't do the bullshit that the average influencers and KOLs are out there doing. Right. I had this post a long time ago. It was, what if key opinion leaders or crypto influencers simply received tokens and held them, right? And believed in them, right? What a crazy concept. I don't know. Potentially, right? How about don't try to, because they all just are these burning stars that want to take in the tokens that they're going to advertise and then sell them immediately, keep talking about it like it's a bullish thing. And then essentially it goes to zero. Their credit is shot within a year or two. Burning bright as a star and then burn into the night. What if you just held the tokens and believed in them, right? Yeah. Novel concept. Now this from Kyle Chasse. Bitcoin ETF chads are deep in the green. Even with Bitcoin hovering around this $86,000, $87,000 spot, the ETF realized price chilling at 72K, holders are sitting on an average unrealized profit of 17% per crypto quant. That's not just bullish, that's alpha on display. Diamond hands will be heavily rewarded. Absolutely crazy. Let's see here. Follow our host on. Yay, thank you for that, Green Day. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, shout out to him. God, what a cool
Such
you
an amazing fellow.
you know what? We need to chase TJ down in relevance to some sneaky cookings we have in the background for Mr. Veteran and this
Yeah.
DeFi. You know what I mean? DeFi is very important. So that is something we need to do after the show. Nihilism. We believe in nothing, LeBron. Those are the worst. Nihilists are the worst. You know what I mean? Like just below Satanist, in my opinion.
Just below. Got breaking
just
news.
Barely.
That's some
we got breaking news.
Here.
Okay, what's that?
Treasury Department is set to lay off substantial number of employees per CNBC.
Oh, shit. All right. An elevator man dropping another 10 memberships?
Jesus.
Good Lord. Okay.
Legends.
God, what a badass, man.
Isn't that right?
Brianna, welcome in. Hello. Nice to see you, Brianna. She's in. Let me see if I got this shot. I might have this shot. Let me see.
Maybe, probably not.
There she is. Ha ha! I got her. I have the ultimate power. This is crazy how we have the stream set up right now. I have so much control of this. All right. So now I made this post. We're going to talk about this. Trump's tariffs. Brace for impact, folks. April 2nd, 2025. 25% tariffs are going to be put on foreign cars, AG imports, Venezuela oil buyers, plus reciprocal rates on China, European Union, and Canada, and more. So this is a far-reaching, wide scope tariff that's going to be coming in here. Wow, look at that. I can even control that. Now, what we see here, Bitcoin and Wall Street could see a violent price action happen on April 2nd. And look at that triangle that I showed you at the beginning of the show. And Kelly was actually the one. He's like, I got this triangle that's actually been bouncing off the bottom end of it. It's acted as kind of the top range of Bitcoin. And this is on the weekly. We are coming up right to the crescendo of this. April 2nd is right in that endpoint of Bitcoin's price action. So very, very interesting contrast to see, especially when you pair it with the news of what's going to happen on April 2nd. So that's going to be some, God, that day, I almost feel like putting a hedged bet where I have a schlong on.
Jesus Christ.
What? It's a
Do
schlong.
it. Do it.
Short and long the market at the same time. We'll see. I'll be heavier on the long side.
Yeah.
Smaller on the short side. No pun intended. Zero Hedge is even talking about this. Trump threatening tariff blitz on the European Union, Canada, if they continue to work against us. So this will be interesting to see. And this is stocks and bond yields sinking on reports of imminent Trump tariffs. You know what's going to happen though? If we have Bitcoin bonds rolled out by the US government, every country across the planet that refuses to do a Bitcoin bond once that is released is going to absolutely nuke. Way worse than this chart shows.
Oh yeah, 100%.
That is the crazy part about this whole conversation. It's like once the Bitcoin standard is rolled out government wide across these governments, it's just like this snowball down a hill that if these countries do not partake in it, they will suffer greatly. So that is something crazy to think about. And this is, trade war back. Kovalevsky letter. Markets are expecting Trump's April 2nd reciprocal tariff day to be the end of uncertainty. And this is a good thing. But if we believe it will be we believe it'll be the exact opposite. So they actually think it's going to be the beginning of extreme uncertainty, which is why tech stocks were down $400 billion during the week. They think it's actually going to be pretty scary. So, I mean, this is the thunder zone, the extreme part of the market that we're about to enter in here. And Godspeed. You know what I mean? This is where holding into chaos and uncertainty can pay off massive dividends, but you have to have balls of steel to hold tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, or millions of dollars in crypto into this insane uncertainty, because it is absolutely there. It's about the brave that will be rewarded through this time frame. So with that being said, we're going to get into the rest of this. I think I just killed my screen share, Isaac.
You did.
What are you looking at on your? I can see your screen now.
Oh
better.
yeah, no, I'm scrolling through the X Pro so I could get all like the breaking stuff that comes out right away.
I like it.
Just in case anything drops, you know.
Yeah. You like
I'm
Joe Rogan has Jamie. He's always
Yeah.
like looking. I got you in the back. I can see
I'm the
like just-
Jamie.
Yeah. I like it. All right. Now tomorrow we're gonna have Redman on. We're gonna talk about this and everything that the Billy Goat Tales are doing. Very cool organization, so keep up to date with them. But something a little less cool is going on in Turkey. Okay. I guess this actually is really cool.
It's pretty fire.
Footage from Antalya, Turkey. A bizarre moment where I just gotta play this.
I wanna be the very best, like no one ever was. To catch them is my real test. To train them is my cause. I will travel across.
Dude, Pikachu started it. That's what happened. And they imprisoned Ash Ketchum, and Pikachu took to the streets. You know what I mean? We're definitely demonetized by that as well. So
yeah,
if you can, smash the likes, okay? Share the stream out. Help our voice get louder as they demonetize us, if you may. Help a brother out, but absolutely crazy. So this protest in Turkey comes as thousands of demonstrations have erupted across multiple cities over the past weeks in response to the arrest of Istanbul Mayor Ekrem İmamoğlu. I'm not going to say it. The Pikachu-clad individual was cheered on by Turkey's Republican People's Party on X, which has remarked that even Pikachu isn't immune to pepper spray. So, shout out to that. I wonder what Green Day would have to do if Green Day ran into like a Pikachu protester. I mean, what do you even do? You know
I don't know.
Take
That'd be pretty funny though.
What kind of threat does a guy in an inflatable Pikachu outfit really pose?
Well, according to KJam, he gonna rob a bank.
Oh my god!
Yeah, but I don't know. Do you fight the Pikachu? Do you throw a Pokeball at him, try to catch him?
Well, you can't like do the eye poke. I mean, he's got the big
No.
fluffy thing on, and then what? The baton, you're just gonna bounce off him usually.
Yeah.
Depends on how strong of an air system he's got going on in there. Like if you have a super strong air system, that's like armor. What is Morpho breaking out? I gotta go look at this.
Guess we're gonna find out.
My Morpho bag's been feeling great, honestly. What are we doing? $1.58. Actually, we're looking really good today. Okay.
Oh yeah, Sag Nasty brought up this thing a long time ago. A guy in a Pikachu outfit jumped the fence of the White House.
Whoa.
So yeah.
See, if you attack the White House though in a Pikachu outfit, you're probably getting dusted. You know, you're probably getting dusted. The Secret Service just swapped over to the 6.5 Creedmoor. It looked like.
Yeah.
That's a nasty round. That is a nasty round. Yeah, Morpho is absolutely doing great though. That little bounce spot off of, what is it? Bounce off a buck was great. I was able to add more in this spot. So my 2 buy points, bam and bam. Absolutely juicy. This I don't know how I do this. Maybe it's just because I've been in this for a couple cycles and I'm an asshole. You know what I mean? But you know, here we go. So all right, the Israel problem persists. Last night there were alerts and sirens going off across Israel for more missile/bomb attacks. Israeli military sirens sounded in several areas in Israel following a projectile launching from Yemen. And this is all in connection, like the Houthis trying to pinch the Strait of Hormuz for all of those trade travel movements. Big problem. And there will be big repercussions for doing so. If you stop the trade movement, and you know what? A lot of people don't like Strait of Hormuz moves a shitload of product. So that is probably a pretty big problem. Does the basement invest in Tesla or strictly crypto? Tesla is one of them that I do consider investing into. And I don't really touch this. My wife loves stock market picks. She makes actually a lot of money on great medical company picks. And she's got like this insurance ETF that insurance ETFs that I see, because the insurance rates are just going to keep going up. Everyone's like sitting here poking the market on real estate to see it collapse. You know, there's something interesting going on with this Trump like it's not a crypto card, it's a Trump gold card It's
Yeah.
a $5 million payment to the U.S. government for elites with value, like, they have a valuation of like 100 million on up. They're spending $5 million per citizenship for themselves, so their colleagues. And then they come to America. These guys have giga amounts of money. What's one of the safest investments on the planet? It's American real estate. So everyone's sitting here wondering, like, when's the real estate economy going to collapse? When can I get a house for $50,000 like my grandpappy did in the 80s? It's not happening. Wrong.
Scam.
And then buying homes,
Yeah.
this is the battle here. And anyone that doesn't own a home, this is the fight to get yourself some real estate. Jesus Christ. Walmart will level my town. God,
Jesus.
that's fucking true though.
Yeah.
Walmart is brutal, bro. And what Walmart and Costco, if they want that land, they are getting
They'll
that
have it.
land. Yeah, but Lutnick sold 1,000 $5 million cards in one day worth $5 billion. Druth, if you had a couple hundred extra on the side to get in some crypto right now, would you link with it or Cardano? Ooh, well, that's a good look.
Ooh.
You know what? I would get. God, is Crypto Crow and Big Pay going to be mad at me? I kind of feel like I'd be buying Chainlink with that, but I already have Cardano. I already have Chainlink. This is a tough call. Probably split it. If I have to choose between the two, I can't. You know what I mean? Because Cardano is one that I'm terrified to fade, and this comes from multiple cycles and seeing Cardano just get violent as hell out of nowhere and just absolutely start outpacing Bitcoin. Then it crashes into the massive cataclysm, which is where it currently is in comparison to Bitcoin. Cardano is in a cataclysm, but there will be a time frame where that turns around. I do personally believe so. Yeah, I would actually kind of split that. And Cardano, to me, it's more of like a decentralization ethos play. Link basically just, it's the king. Link is the king. You can't. Crypto needs Link. Link obviously needs crypto. But what do we got? Where does Crypto Glassworks, man? I want to see what he said here as well. I see some congrats from Green Day. If you can, Isaac, let me know.
Bought a home during the housing crisis in 2008. Got a heck of a deal. Loving that decision.
Giga Chad right there.
Base.
Absolute Giga Chad. That's the move. If you do see a crash in homes, for the love of God, buy that. Absolutely. Yeah. Like I bought, just by accident, I bought a house in, I think it was 2019. It was what was it? December of 2019. And I got an interest rate of like 2.25%. And the house was like, I think it was $350,000. In the course of 2 years, the value of the house went up to $630,000.
Jeez.
I sold the house,
Obviously.
bought a new one at a 3% interest rate for $250,000. And now interest rates are at the 7 or 8%.
Yeah.
So life comes at you quick. Absolutely crazy. That is just the Giga Chad move. Speaking of Giga Chads, here's Trump from the White House talking about taking down a bunch of MS-13 gang leaders. So keep it going. Isaac, it's 12:49. Do we have anyone in the wings I need to speak to?
No one's in the wings right now.
Good. Keep an eye on that. Let me know. I got a lot of ground to cover here, honestly. Here's the Homeland Security Secretary Noam visiting El Salvador prison where deported Venezuelans are held. So taking a selfie in front of all these insanely tatted psychopaths. Very awesome. Very awesome. Don't come back, too. Come on, go on, Jack. Don't you come back no more. Get the hell out. All right.
Remember when you asked me about if anyone was in the wings? Someone just arrived in the wings.
Oh, really?
And he likes Ada.
Okay. Well, let's bring him on up.
Bring him on
up. This is a surprise to me. Big Pay. What's up, man? Is he frozen? I think he's frozen. He's frozen, Isaac. He's frozen. You froze him in the wings.
I have not frozen anybody.
There he is. Big Pay. I wonder if he can hear me. Can you hear me, Big Pay? No, he can't hear me. Isaac, bring him
Okay.
down and then talk to him in the side chat. You got like a green room chat,
Yeah.
and see if you can work him through the sound problems. But bring up my screen as you do so, because we're going to run through the rest of this. $4 trillion in companies moving back to the U.S. This is more companies moving back to the U.S. on top of this gold trump card. I'm telling you, these elites that are able to pay $5 million for a immigration card to the U.S. They're bringing hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars. They are going to invest in the U.S. But $4 trillion moving back to the U.S. From companies that left some decades ago. They're all coming back. Trump also slammed Biden's CHIPS Act for rewarding billion-dollar firms who have no incentive to produce in the United States. New investments already rolling in with Hyundai, $20 billion plan to invest, includes a $5 billion steel plant deal in Louisiana. Honda is expanding to Indiana, and GM reviving idle plants. Absolutely beautiful. Now Trump is also saying this, make it here, no tariffs. That's why they're coming back. Absolutely beautiful to see.
Beautiful.
So Americana revived, and I'm here for it. I'm not sorry about it either. You know what I mean?
No way.
So with that being said, there's been a lot of worry in the markets. Oh, snap. There's Big Pay.
Things working out.
How you doing?
Yeah,
Doing
there we
good.
go.
Doing good.
Good to see
Isaac,
you again, Drew. It's been too long.
Yeah. Isaac, give me the side by side. There he is. How you doing? Yes,
good.
it's been quite so. Last time I talked to you, I was organizing around the blockchain, and you're the dude. You're always bringing some great alpha on Cardano. Me myself, even the times where I don't have any at the time in my portfolio, I can't stop talking about it. Okay, I do have some in my portfolio. It's like the seventh, maybe sixth or seventh biggest token in my portfolio, but I saw some kind of scary stuff. Okay, I saw some kind of scary stuff I want to talk to you about. It's
Okay.
the Wyoming stablecoin deal. What the hell happened here? Now, the Wyoming stablecoins talked about in July 2024, set to go live on Solana. They're also like messing around with Polygon and Arbitrum and Base and all these other different, ETH deals. But I saw some great posts like this one from Minturn talking about like describing this as a war between Cardano and Wyoming State over stablecoins. Just drama on Cardano again over the Wyoming stablecoin WST request for proposal, with Cardano advocates alleging unfair treatment by the selection committee. And in general, you know what? Like, I know Charles Hoskinson, he's well positioned. He knows he's great friends with RFK. Is there, in your mind, is there even a need for a Cardano government involvement in the future? Like, where does your mind go when you see Minturn describing this as a war between Cardano and Wyoming state legislators?
So Minturn always takes the drama out of things. He tries to make it big, big post, but Cardano's always been the redheaded stepchild, in my opinion. And we don't get mentioned on Coin Bureau. We don't get mentioned on these big headlines for anything good that happens.
Right.
For example, a digital constitution was just enacted on chain, from 60 countries. People all over the world flew to Argentina to put a constitution on chain that everyone agreed on. You didn't see a headline from this, this website or this website. And, I think people are really hurt by that. So when they see another thing of us not being included, the Cardano community always blows it up. I don't think that, we need to be included in everything to succeed. I think that the reason the Cardano community was really hurt by this is because we've always supported Wyoming in the past. If you were starting a company on Cardano in 2020, a stake pool, you set your business up in Wyoming. And it's because they offered, DAO legislation there. And, Charles was working with, senators there to push DAO legislation. So I think that this was really shocking to the community of, hey, we've been pushing this state forward, and then here we are being left out. Why was Cardano left out? From my understanding, it was just the way that they were actually calculating the data that allowed you to be included in the choices of stable coins. So it was the way
Okay.
they measured it is from my understanding, right?
Yeah, that's some great insight there. I love that I asked you this question. And you know what? Like, um, what we said, the Constitution, on the blockchain basement, we definitely had to cover it. I mean, when the Cardano Constitution was confirmed, obviously we cover Snake because it's hilarious how down bad is. I got to look at the Snake chart, but honestly, it's been like outperforming most of these Solana meme coins. They all just pop up and they die. Even if they hit $1 billion market cap, they die. Snake does this without any centralized exchange listings for the most part. But the Cardano Constitution, I had to go to sleep before I could talk or ask Charles Hoskinson this question. I was on a space with him, but he had essentially someone that had more power than he did in the decision making for Cardano now that this Constitution has been passed. I want you to kind of go through what the Constitution really means from your perspective, because for me, it was like Charles Hoskinson just handed the power literally to the people. And it's up to the Cardano community now and really the delegators to truly decide what happens with the network, which I am a believer of freedom and our voices being heard. I'm very bullish. But if you can give people kind of a rundown of what the Constitution really changed for the Cardano ecosystem.
Sure. So there's, Cardano's broken up. The governance on Cardano is broken up almost like a government. Imagine Cardano now as a digital nation state that is governed by all of the individuals that hold the tokens all over the world. And it's split into different branches, right? So you have the CC, and that's the Constitutional Committee. And that's why the Constitution needed to be enacted on chain, so that the Constitutional Committee can decide whether governance actions, which change things like fees or block size, those are all changed by anyone in the world submitting a proposal to Cardano.
Right.
And then the Constitutional Committee reads the Constitution, reads the proposal, and says, is this change constitutional? So that's where the Constitution comes in. And how it came to be was years of deliberation from the Cardano community all over the world. There were workshops held in the US, there were workshops held in Asia, there were workshops held in Europe, all over the world. People were looking at this Constitution and making changes. And that accumulated in Argentina, where at the workshops a delegate was chosen and then sent to Argentina to then even make even more changes on the Constitution. I actually flew there myself. I wasn't, voted in or a delegate. I flew there just to record it because I did think it was a monumental event. So to get into the other branches, go ahead.
No, I'm listening. Go on. I love this explanation too, because this is the nuts and bolts of how this system works. It's a huge change.
Yeah, and the other branches is the DREPs. And then stake pool operators. Stake pool operators have been around since 2020, gathering stake, processing transactions. There's, over 1,000 of them. Cardano is, the most decentralized proof of stake network in the entire world at this point. And, this is, think of it almost as a second layer of decentralization. It's the social layer of decentralization. So when you delegate to an SPO, you're saying, okay, you process, my percentage of the network's transactions. Well, with DREPs, you do the same thing. You're delegating your ADA to somebody that is going to vote for you. So you delegate to somebody who has an opinion that you think represents your opinion, so that you can go, join the SNEC community and have fun there, instead of, deliberating on all of these complex topics like, what is the block size on Cardano, or what should the protocol parameters be? Not every, everyday users, they don't want to deal with that. Right. They just want to, delegate that to somebody. And that's what the DREP is there for. And these three different branches of the Cardano government, SPOs, DREPs, and the CC, are meant to be the checks and balances of the social decentralization layer that lives on top of Cardano. And that is one of the big innovations. You have proof of stake, which is an innovation. And then you have, a second layer, a social layer of decentralization.
Yeah. And I like the self-custody ability to stake too, like I use an Arculus cold storage wallet. I got my Cardano there, and it's like one of the few, if I haven't even seen another one, that I can literally just stake it straight from my cold storage. And me personally, as a sovereignty maximalist, that matters to me. I got into crypto to be able to communicate with people. This goes deep, but encrypted communication was a thing when we thought tyranny actual was coming to the United States from flu season, right? And then I saw the movements of the government to stop that communication on, let's say, Facebook. I found what encryptions are, and I remembered Bitcoin. I was like, holy shit, crypto encryption. This is just encrypted money. I was all about encrypted communication. And then I figured out crypto is just encrypted money. It gave me an insane light switch going off on really the movement of the world here. So when I look at the price action, that matters to me too, because I'm trying to outpace inflation. Cardano, ever since it had that initial, that run up in 2021, and this doesn't give all the data, but I got the chart up here, Mr. Isaac. Let's pull this up. This is the peak that it experienced. Let's move this bad boy. Peak that it experienced back in September of 2021 in comparison to what you get for Bitcoin. And it has been a painful ride downhill, but recently with that move that it had, I think it hit like $1.20 or something like that. But this is the buying power of Cardano compared to Bitcoin, with a very, very sharp resurgence. And now we have actually bounced off that downward trend line, just in price terms, what I mean? Because a lot of people get beat down, they see this, going on for a few years time frame, they just kind of walk away from it. Me, last cycle, I faded it and I haven't forgiven myself. So that's where kind of what I did is I had made a really good move on Trump's official meme token. And so I took that profit and then moved it into Cardano because it's one of the few projects that I feel like has staying power, and that matters a lot. I feel like staying power for a crypto project matters a lot. And with that being said, that's kind of where I come from in how I look at it. You know what I mean? Because I don't have time to be swapping out of 100 different meme coins or deep altcoins. I just have pared my portfolio down to things that I either have great staying power or immediate applicable value in terms of real world assets, things of that nature. So, that being said, I got to say this, happy birthday to C90FTW. I see him in the chat. And also people are asking if the Discord's going away. No, I dropped a shitload of alpha on there. And I think, God, I know C90's in there still. I don't know, I stopped doing it for like a week or something like that. It's been kind of quiet in there. Maybe I should shut it down if no one wants to be in there. But I got to put my trades somewhere. So, I'm going to be putting my trades in there. This trade, though, that I'm seeing on Cardano, if we see this higher low developed on the ADA to Bitcoin chart, and we see Bitcoin dominance start to actually tick down, this is incredible to see Bitcoin dominance continue to move up. But Cardano doesn't look too weak in relevance. Like a lot of the losses that you see in altcoins, a lot of it's meme coins, and then these damn AI agents that rise like a phoenix and then die like a exploding star. That's where Bitcoin dominance is continuing to tick up, but it's not being found. Then Chainlink, I'm still moving upwards on my Chainlink. Now, yeah, you know what, Isaac, are you there?
Indeed,
I have Isaac.
I'm backstage.
So we need to go on we need to build our Discord into our schedule. Because I know me and you do a lot of stuff. We're a two-man team here, three-man team. Brianna, you're in here too. We're gonna build Discord into our schedule because we gotta focus on that. We got a lot of crazy stuff. Well, Big Pay, I really appreciate you coming on the show. Oh, did he just die? Did you just delete him, Isaac?
He deleted me.
Oh, he deleted you.
I did no
Isaac?
such thing. Okay, I went backstage and it kicked him off. That was my bad.
Unbelievable. I really appreciate you coming on and explaining what the nuts and bolts of Cardano's constitution have meant. And you know what? I just had to show the chart because there's so many people that just constantly doubt it. And there's been a lot of distractions with Solana's move from $9 to 260. They thought it was just taking over everything. We will be surprised. I think that we're going to be very, very surprised. So for everyone that wants to keep up with you, Big Pay, you always are dropping great Cardano alpha. where are you most active, and how can people keep up with your information?
So right now, I've been most active on Twitter, just BIGPEYYT. I'm also launching a project called Atrium. Make sure you guys check that out. I also have a YouTube channel. I was making a video before I jumped on here.
Okay.
My YouTube channel is just Big Pay as well. And I wanted to comment on kind of what you said about SNEC, like you in Cardano. So if you look at the historical context, with Cardano moved at a different time than everyone else.
Yeah.
It was the bottom was 3 cents. It shot up to $3 at the peak. And the reason it doesn't, kind of follow that same line is because it's an actual organic community with organic growth. What a lot of people don't realize in crypto is that when the number's already high, a bunch of people jump on the bandwagon. So what projects do is they get VCs to make a bunch of fake numbers to make the project look better than it actually is. And they do that to steal your money. And SNEC, in my opinion, didn't do that. It has a very organic community that grew slowly over time. That's why it doesn't follow this pump and dump meme coin cycle that you're used to seeing. It's more like Doge. And I think Cardano's the same way. Cardano's not, Solana, where it had SPF, helping launch it in the very beginning. It was a very organic growth with an organic developer community for many, many years at this point. So once the macro shifts, in my opinion, it's going to do exactly what it did last cycle with probably a bit less because it's already higher. That's just my opinion, but worry about fake numbers or what people are telling you in this industry because there's a lot of bullshit within it.
Well, and we were talking to Scott Herman yesterday. He comes from the gaming industry. He does WAGMI games, and he's like, a bunch of these games are gaming their amount of users, right? And then, we've also covered the amount of money that these VCs are using as essentially a wash trade to show activity on Solana. And so then they compare the two networks, like, haha, Cardano's dead because we have a bunch of VCs with millions of dollars in money that they're just arbitraging back and forth on these projects to show a massive amount of usage. And then you get all the people with all their maximalism coming out on Twitter saying, see, you died. It's that the literal altcoin sector, in relevance to comparing at the bull hype, is dead right now. It's because we are buying good projects before they're being used. And that's the building the house before, building the building and then watching the people come afterwards. It's just the process. It is aggravating. I share that aggravation that you have, Big Pay, because there's so much backroom shenanigans going on to make these transaction levels look like, what they are advertised as, when really, the market is pretty fucking low right now. So you just got to keep that in
streamers, man, like Aiden Ross and Neon.
Dude, I saw that. They're like buying viewers. I saw it. And it's like, if you're buying a viewer, then your literal community is not growing. And your channel, like, let's just say this. Let's say Drew gets a deal with VeChain, let's just say, for example, and it's worth $500,000, $1 million bucks. But then my show has got like 50 people watching it. A year later, VeChain's like, why in the fuck are we paying you $1 million for 50 of the same viewers over and over again? Right. So then you start pulling some crazy shit off. You start trying to buy out other things to make yourself look better with that money that you got from the sponsor. It's just a mess. So I reiterate that because I've always believed in just consistent hard work and growing an actual community. And I think that Cardano is going to be a long-staying project. It'll have its time in the sun. Maybe it'll miss out on this government involvement this cycle, but it's going to be around. People are still going to continue building on it. I'm going to hold it. You know what I mean? I'm going to hold it. What happened to Isaac's
Charles
head?
was on stage with World Liberty Financial yesterday, and he was doing a talk with Donald Trump Jr. He was the moderator of the panel.
I saw that. Absolutely. And he only got 20 minutes. Yeah, he only got 20 minutes, but he had a great talk with them. And now Cardano, IOHK Charles Hoskinson, met with Constellation DAG, Ben Jorgensen. Veteran Crypto just brought this out. This is actually kind of crazy because I made a conspiracy theory about this yesterday from Dagnum PI hanging out with Charles Hoskinson. Now we have this actual meeting happening with Constellation DAG. This would be a crazy, crazy combination because Constellation, it's like in a few $100 million market cap, but this thing has literally been working with the Treasury and the Department of Defense for years, absolute years, and on a project called Iron Spider. And it's all for data security, where most of it stemmed from originally. And then they just keep building into other portions of government usage of crypto. That is absolutely insane for me to see. So, you know what? It's a crazy time out there. A lot of people, and you know what? Maybe we should have a Cardano versus Solana, like, what do they call it? It's not the World Series. I don't watch football. What the fuck do they call it? The Super Bowl. The Super Bowl helmets, just crashing right there. We should dive into it. Isaac?
Let me bring some
Is there-
teammates, but I'm happy to do it.
Yeah.
Huh.
I could bring like a teammate. My teammate's gonna be Drew, but I'm down to go Solana versus
Dude,
Ada.
We should get Crypto Stevo up on this shit.
We
too.
should get Steve up on here. He would be the number one Solana teammate for me to have.
Face
So,
off. I
Face off.
absolutely
It's gonna
love
be
this
great.
idea. All right. Well, Big Pay, absolutely wonderful to have you on the show. Great
Thank
conversation.
you for having me.
Are you going to Bitcoin Vegas?
Yeah,
You
going.
better hang out with me, you son of a bitch.
See you
I'm
there.
gonna be
Let's
out
do it.
there drinking. What is it? The Long Island iced teas. I'm
Yep.
gonna be taking selfies. I won't be gambling too much because what I do when I gamble is I start off with like $100. I'll get it up to $500 at like 2 or 3 a.m. and then I'll wake up with $100 or $50. You know what I mean? That's how it always goes. Like I always win up till about 2 or 3 a.m. and I keep going. It's the experience, Brianna. And like meme coins, they used to be like a casino where you get free drinks, right? You hang out, you get to feel good about the people around you. Now meme coins are just a knife fight behind the strip. Not even the strip. It's like the casinos off the strip, where the real bad stuff's happening. So I appreciate you, brother. I look forward to bringing you back on the show, being on your show. Send me an invite. Let me know. Keep that invite list that I sent you to keep setting up time frames because I really liked having you on. And I'll be seeing you very, very soon. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I appreciate you, AA, for reaching out to me. And thank you to the audience. I hope you have a good rest of your Thursday.
Hell yeah, bro.
Yeah, take it easy, brother.
Man, that's cool. I love those. Like he's actually very, very involved with Cardano. So I like it. And one of the smartest people that I know, BJ, it's always been about Cardano. TJ as well.
Yeah.
So I took you. I forgot that you're in my ears.
I'm
too.
in your ears. I'm not across the room from you today.
God, it's weird.
It is weird.
Village's Crypto Club will be looking for us in Vegas. That is scary.
That's pretty terrifying. I'm not gonna lie.
Nah, I'll take selfie. I'll say what's up to him.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So let's see what else we need to cover here. I'll kind of back up to the altcoin section. We got Ripple partnering up with Chipper Cash to enable fast cross-border payments into Africa using Ripple payments. That's interesting to see. Also, U.S. Treasury Secretary are ready to consider reconnecting Russia to the SWIFT system. A little bit of financial peace maybe on the horizon for that. Interesting to see. Also, Sonic. TVL, absolutely disgusting. DeFi on Sonic. I think veterans in on, I think also TJ might have dabbled in the DeFi side, potentially. But the yields are crazy on Sonic. With high yield, definitely high risk when it gets like crazy levels of numbers. Aaron, no, I didn't finish the chicken coop yet, Aaron. I have to build this. I have to rebuild this retaining wall. I just realized it's about to collapse. And then after that, I'm going to build the coop extension. Yeah, I have two coops right now.
The coop.
I'm building like a chicken Taj Mahal.
An army, a cabal.
Dude, I can't get like my neighbors and like my wife's coworkers, people I know, they all want the eggs. They're good eggs. What can I say? It's a lot of work. You know what I mean? Is what it is. So, God, I feel good fasting. Fuck, man. I have so much energy still. I feel like I punch a hole through a wall, through a shaker bottle at the ceiling. Now, yeah. it's um, ENA, Athena's monthly buying volume consistently stayed above $1 billion since December of 2024. Athena is still at a very buyable level, and I don't have any right now, but I'm probably going to hate myself for not. Let's go to this, pull this tab up. It's at 42 cents right now. In general, it is essentially, if it bounces off this, these are higher lows being created on the all-time chart for Athena. The usage, the TVL staying very, very strong. And it is one of World Liberty Fi's menu items. So that being said, got to be careful fading Athena. You know what I mean? That might aggravate me. I might need a little bit. Binance and OKX have declared war on Hyperliquid. Users are withdrawing their funds in droves on the Hyperliquid vault. Is down $300 million. Holy shit. Now we also see this. ZachXBT responds to Hedgehog. CZ about to list Jelly because it looks like CZ or Binance was doing like vicious trades on this Jelly token on Hyperliquid to leave them with a bunch of toxic debt. And now ZachXBT, it would be even funnier if this outcome happened because both Jelly manipulators, this address and this address were freshly funded via Binance on Arbitrum. And here is all of his receipts, bro. So he's like, yeah, here's your proof. It's a matter of who pays attention to it. Anyway, and I had something kind of crazy to say this morning, and admittedly, it's kind of nuts. You know, that the weaves, or I guess they're called wigs, are made from sewage. It's not true. Well, I mean, it's partially true. Here's the truth. Kind of. So this is going around. True story. One of the biggest markets of human hair in the world is India. Before it is sent to China to be made into hair extensions or wigs, it is sold at high prices in Europe and then the US. But the origin is that people collect the hair like this. Most of the human hair on the market gets human hair from this method. And this is them pulling it out of like drains, little sewage pipes and things like that, filtering it out and making it into these huge, collections. But this comes from one specific location. Okay. One specific location. Oh God. What did I just do? So let's go to here. Ganganar, I believe, is the name of this town. So this, what is the name? I think it's Ganganar, I believe.
Yeah, sure. I would have to actually see it to be able to read it off.
Here's the deal, is that it's Ganganar in India. Ganganar only makes up like a fifth of the total hair exports out of India, which is then sent to China, which is the main producer of these things. So to a degree, a little bit of it is poon curry, okay, but the mass majority of it is they actually cut it off monks' heads. So it's good hair. So it's a little bit. It's like they're sprinkling it in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I am sorry to have told you, my friend, but you are indubitably bad.
Was that for me?
No, it wasn't for you. It was for Red Jones because he said that they could have some of my butt hair. So yeah, you get banned for that, unfortunately. See,
there's got to be a market there's got to be a market for that for Americans here. I mean, these.
Let's not get into it though.
Northwest Georgia boys, they got a lot to offer. Talladega, NASCAR fans, come on now, let's make it rain. All right, we're moving backwards as a society. This is us now. We're so advanced with our stupid boxes on stilts and our phones and whoever this is with their mouth wide open like a blow-up doll. This is what things used to be like. We had amazing paintings, and not a phone inside. People discussing. This kind of looks a little gay though.
This is definitely
this looks like a bathhouse. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Life changes. You know what I mean? I had to cover the hair story. I mean, it's like diffusing some of the confusion a little bit, but also there's a degree of truth behind that. So I love and appreciate every single one of you out there supporting the channel here. Make sure if you are trading to use our links down for L Bank, for BTCC. Big Pay dropping the memberships. What a guy. Appreciate you. We had a lot of memberships drop today. Holy God.
I know, we did.
I might be
Yeah,
able
that's great.
to. Oh, I don't buy. I need to. We already got your freaking AR.
Yes, sir.
But you got. I won't talk about.
Yeah. I might wear it tomorrow. How about that? I won't say anything about it, but I'll just be on.
All right, fine. Appreciate every single one of you out there for supporting the channel, you guys. You guys are the reason, the bedrock of this channel, why we are growing so well. You guys are the bread. Now, after this, a butt hair bull market, Crypto Glassworks
I'm
asks.
going to fucking obliterate this chat in a good way,
my
in a
God.
very loving band way.
A butt hair bull market. That's what we're in. That's the moral of the story, folks. Appreciate every single one of you out there. And until next time, I bid you adieu. Goodbye.